I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that taught us this word. I just want to do a video on this devil, or the she devil, Amy Klobuchar. She's a Democratic candidate for the presidency, but she's also now some new allegations came out that she's, had a hand in sending an innocent teenager to life in prison. So-called Jake, so-called black man, to prison for the rest of his life for something, for a crime he didn't commit. You know, there's no real evidence that that was against this guy, but she went and sent him to prison, and that's just the devil. That's that perpetual hatred, that these Edomites, so-called white man and his woman have towards you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. And they're cunning because all these politicians, they always talk all sweet and how they're gonna, sweet words was in his mouth, sweet as butter, but war, was in their hearts, man. They had nothing but hatred for you tribes, they talk about what they're gonna do for the economy and how great they are and how they're gonna help you, but inside you have all types of crimes and blood on their hands from what they did to Jake, and what they're planning on doing. Like with Bill Gates, you would never expect this guy to be a diabolical mass murderer. You think he's just sweet, nerd. Started Microsoft, but he has these plans for sending out these viruses and killing off most of the population through vaccines. And he literally just said it. He came out and said it actually in one of those TED Talks conventions, or this little TED Talk not sermons, but lectures that they give out. But the title of this article is "Did Amy Klobuchar send an innocent teenager to life in prison? Questions mount over her record as DA." And this is from a website called Democracy Now! They actually have a television program. I think it's on PBS. It's like a independent, news source. Independent global news, supported by viewers. And this is basically like a transcript of that particular episode that aired. Her name is Amy Goodman. She's the host. This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman. Well, actually, you know what? Just read the article first. After a surprising third place finish in the New Hampshire primary, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar is attempting to gain ground in the national polls. But Klobuchar is also facing mounting scrutiny over her record as district attorney in Minnesota. The Minneapolis NAACP, Black Lives Matter, Twin Cities, and other racial justice groups recently called on Klobuchar to suspend her presidential campaign following a shocking investigation by the Associated Press that the AP report centered on a case of Mayan Burrell, an African American teenager who was sentenced to life in prison over the 2002 murder of 11-year-old Taisha Edwards. Klobuchar led the case against Mayan Burrell when she was Hennepin County's district attorney, but the AP report says she may have mishandled the case and that Burrell could be innocent. The Associated Press report shows how prosecutors had no DNA or fingerprints tying Burrell to the murder, and that they relied on jailhouse informants, some of whom since recanted their testimonies. Burrell has always maintained his innocence. I think he's been in there for about 18 years now. So yeah, here's the transcript of the actual news program. she was on a show called The View. Yeah, this is the host, Amy Goodman. Uh, on the campaign trail, Klobuchar has cited the jailing of Burrell as one of her achievements. She brought up the case during a debate in September. We found the shooter and we put him in jail. We did the same for the killer, a little girl named Taisha Edwards, who was doing her homework at her kitchen table and was shot through the window. On Tuesday, Senator Klobuchar was grilled about the case by Sunny Holston, co-host of The View. So now this is the transcript of the View that they're talking about. That show, The View. I've reviewed the facts of that case, and it's one of the most flawed investigations and persecutions that I think I have ever seen. When you look at it, you have your homicide detective on tape offering informants $500 a piece for names. Then I looked at it and I also saw that Mr. Burrell's alibi witnesses were not looked at all. Were not looked at. His surveillance tapes were not looked at. I mean, how do you defend something like that to someone like me, who is the mother of a black boy, a black teenager? This case would be my worst nightmare. And her answer is, well, Sonny, I'll start with this. I've been very clear. All of the evidence needs to be immediately reviewed in that case. The past evidence and also any new evidence that has come forward. I've called for that. Well, you're a U.S. Senator now. You're a powerful woman. Yes. What do you intend to do to right this wrong? Well, I've called for the office of the courts to review the evidence. That is what we must do in the judicial system. I've also worked extensively with the Innocence Project in my previous job, and we reviewed all serious cases we have had involve DNA evidence. This one didn't, but we reviewed those cases. I pioneered a new. And then she cuts her off and says, it had no gun, it had no DNA evidence, it had no fingerprints. And this other devil, Joy Behar, she's a co-host of The View. I guess she didn't know that Sonny was gonna grill her like that. She stepped in and said, are we persecuting Amy Klobuchar today? Exactly. So this is the case that must be reviewed. So yeah, that's basically it. Then there was another interview. I'm not gonna go through all of it, but that's just the devil at work. She knew she was wrong. She knew what she did. Sent an innocent Jake to prison, but that's all part. That's the Most High's sword right there. That's part of the Most High's sword. So these cops, these devils, the Edomites, they're set up to destroy Israel, man. 2/3 at least. For going off. And we have to deal with that right now. So you got to be careful who you hang around. Jake's all involved in this black culture, this rap music that glorifies, thuggery, gangsterism, and all that. You can easily just get caught up in this system, man. So you got to be careful out here, how you move out here, man. This is Psalms 17:13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Yeah, the Most High sets up people like this. It's that sword. And these devils are set up to destroy us, man. The 2/3 at least. Second scripture is Sirach in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Yeah, all these devils, they talk a good game. They'll talk about how they're going to do, how they're going to help, the dreamers and all that. But inward, they're full of hate. They have that perpetual hatred for you tribes out here, man. I mean, she didn't even know who the president of Mexico was in these debates. I mean, I'm not into politics, but I like to watch these debates every now and then, get a good laugh. You know, all just lying through their teeth. But yeah, she wants to be, leader of the free world. She didn't even know who the president of Mexico was. You know, the last scripture is Ezekiel chapter 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Yeah, we're supposed to prophesy against, Mount Seir, against Esau, against America, because this place was set up, you know, to destroy us. It was set up to put us in slavery, It was set up to inflict punishment on the nation of Israel, man. But now that time is done. Say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, you know, and hast shed the blood of the children of innocence by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and in the time where their iniquity had an end. Yeah, perpetual hatred, man, and everlasting hatred. But it's going to come to an end real soon. Most High's going to lay the cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, man. That nuclear destruction, you know. So yeah, I just want to do this video on this. These devils have no problem sending innocent jakes to prison. That's what they're set up for. I believe there's a documentary out there. There was like a judge, that was sending people to prison for cash. It was called Cash for Kids or something like that. This judge out there in Pennsylvania recently got convicted, of getting paid to send people to prison, people to jail. And, most of them were jakes, Yeah, with that, shalom.